Okay, so now we made it to the next section. We're going to talk about anonymous functions, and we're going to teach you how to write them and how to use them. Now, this is a new concept that we're adding, another layer that we're adding on what we've already taught you. I've introduced to you what a pure function is, as well as a function with side effects. And we're going to learn now how to write anonymous functions and why we use them. Again, if you're new to this channel and you're not a part of the cohort, the curriculum is free. All you have to do is click the link in the description and you can follow along as well. Also, if you didn't watch the intro video for this particular chapter, I showed you how to fork the actual repository and how to set it up on your local machine. And now we're going to go a step further. I'm going to show you how to go into the correct file and how to use and run the actual code in the correct file in this particular section. So let's get into it. All right, anonymous functions. You already know one method for creating a function. Right here, function, the keyword, whatever your function name is, and how to use parameters. A function defined in this way is called a named function. This is important that you understand what that is. So we taught you what a function is earlier, but I believe we're just telling you it's called a named function now as we get ready to show you what an anonymous function. So get it? Makes sense? A named function, an anonymous function. And also we taught you what a pure function is, as well as a function with side effects. Now, my function in this example above, many programming languages, including JavaScript, allow us to create anonymous functions, which do not have names. We can create anonymous functions by simply leaving off the function's name when defining it, like so. But there's a little bit more to this. You might be asking yourself, how do I call a function if it doesn't have a name? Good question. Let's address that now. Anonymous functions variable. Anonymous functions are often assigned to variables when they are created, which allows them to be called using the variable name. Here's an example. Let's create and use a simple anonymous function that returns the sum of two numbers. So here, let's look at the syntax. What we've done is, just like when you create a function with any data type, with any value, you're declaring an actual variable, which we're going to call add, and we're assigning a function instead of a string, a number, a boolean, so on. None of the primitive data types. We're actually assigning it a function. We're not assigning it an array, but a function. And notice here, when we console.log add 1 and 1, the output is 2. But now something I want you to take note of here. Understand we can call the function without console.log and it's going to still give us the 2. But let's kind of write this real quick so you can see a demonstration on the difference between using the console.log and why we would need to use the console.log. And we're going to show you in a moment why we use the console.log versus not me just calling or invoking the function. So here, the variable add refers to the anonymous function created on line 1 through 3. We call the function using the variable name since the function does not have a name. So we use this a lot in programming. We do this a lot of us do, at least I do. I use variables to put my functions in. I put everything in a variable. Now notice here's a warning. Like other variables declarations, remember now, this is the rules we got to understand. An assignment statement using an anonymous function should be terminated by a semicolon. This is easy to overlook. since name functions do not end with a semicolon. So always remember, whenever you're assigning something to a variable, it has to have a semicolon. It's a statement. Now, an anonymous function doesn't need one. Why is that? Because again, anonymous functions is only iterated over, or the DOM is going to go line by line is only when it's invoked. But now we're storing it inside of a variable, so therefore we can now invoke it with using a variable name whenever we need it. So again, remember, functions can only be ran once you invoke them. They just sit there until you invoke them. And we're going to show you really how this works when we get to React. But understand this now. Get the foundation, because again, it's going to be another learning curve once we get into React. Now, here, check your understanding. Here are a few questions that we ask you. We want you to follow them. Okay. So now what I want to do real quick is that I want to help you understand how to use the VS Code for this, so you can practice if you don't already know, especially if you're new to this channel. I'm going to go to VS Code real quick, and then I'm going to come over here, and as you can see, I have all of these. This is what we call the tree. This is a tree right here. And in this tree, although you may think that these are part of this one, even though it's part of the project, these are its own directory. And we'll help you understand this when we get into React, because we're going to be creating directories, and we call them components. But here, each one of these exercises for each chapter is technically a component, but it is its own directory. Now, one of the things I want to do is I want to come up here and I want to open up the terminal, put the new terminal right here. So we got the new terminal. Now, you may be in your PowerShell. So come over here, and I want to put it in Git Bash. I can actually delete that PowerShell now. I don't need that. So here I'm in Git Bash. I'm in JavaScript project, but I'm right here now working in more functions. I need to get to that directory. So I need to go ls, and then I need to cd into more functions. So I'm going to cd more tab, because I only need to write the first few characters. And if it's a couple of directories with the similar characters, just keep typing until eventually you get the directory you're looking for, and hit tab so you can make sure you're going to the right directory. I'm gonna hit enter. Now I'm in that directory, because see, it says more on functions. Now I'm going to ls again. So what do I want to be? I want to be right here at the chapter exercise. This is another directory, a nested directory, and I need to be in that directory. So in order to go into a new directory, I have to use the command cd, and cd means change directories. I typed a few characters, I hit tab, and now I am in that directory. Here you go, and I'm in main right now. So now when I type ls command again, I am now inside of the another set of directories that I want to get access to, so we can work on the particular file. And how I know it's a directory, because it doesn't have a file extension. It's not a file. So I need to do cd again, and I want to go into the anonymous directory. I just type an, then tab, and it completed it for me. Hit enter. Now I'm in that directory. Hit ls. There are the files that I need right here. And notice I have a package.json. So I'm going to show you in a few minutes what we need to do when we get into the next section. So we're going to end the section right here, and we're going to pick it up in the next section, and we're going to go a little bit further in VS Code as we learn and practice with the different examples. Okay, so that's the end of this particular section. See you in the next section, and remember, the more you do, the more you improve.